what I would like you to do is think about concentrating on the goose that lays the golden egg. So we very often talk when we're asking about we ask everybody. So every single person that you bump into, every customer, every friends and family, every networking meeting that you go to, you should be asking for referrals. Now, very often people find this quite daunting because they feel as though they're asking all and sundry. So my recommendation firstly is to focus on your customers, your referrers that are the best people, that are your best customers, and make sure that you ask them. So if you've got 100 customers, perhaps pick the top 10 and then concentrate on looking after those top 10 and asking those people rather than asking the whole of the 100. Now, the next part of this is when you ask those referrals, you need to be specific about what you're asking for. If I ask you, what is your favorite film? Your brain will go off and it will start trying to work out what's the favorite film. In my case, it's things like, was it Rocky, or was it Terminator? And there's all these different things that it might possibly be. That's a massive subject. Now, that's a bit like you going to one of your customers and saying, out of all of the people that you know in business, who is it that we most likely would be able to help? And as soon as you do that, they go out into a whole of their community, a whole of their network, and again, they will struggle to answer it just the same as I and you struggle to answer the film question. Now, if you narrow it down and become more specific, so say, for example, I could ask you, what is your favorite Disney film of all time? Now, all of a sudden, we've narrowed that down, and you might think of something, Big Hero 6 or whatever it is. And the reason why I picked Disney is because I've got 2 kids, 5 and 7, and they're Disney mad at the moment. But all of a sudden you narrow it down. And if I was to go further and say, okay, what was your favorite Disney film in the last 2 or 3 years? Then you would narrow it down even further. So when you're asking these golden goose that are going to lay your golden egg, who it is that they know that they might work with you, give them some specifics. So you could say something like, who do you know that's got 3 or more team members? Who do you know that's been got an established business that's over 10 years old, for example? And the more specific that you can be around what type of customer it is that you're looking for, then the much more likely they are to give you an answer to that question. And they'll feel much more comfortable about giving you something because they know that they're providing you with what you actually want, rather than my mate Dave the florist, who you might or might not be interested in. So 2 things in there to start with. Firstly, identify the people that are most likely to refer the people to you, the customers to you that you want to work with. And then when you ask them, give them the specifics of the type of customer that you want from them. And then lastly, if you don't want to ask somebody for a referral, you can ask permission to ask. So let me share how this works. Instead of saying, hello, Dave, Dave's the imaginary client. Hello, Dave, who in your business do you know, or who in your business community do you know that would most like to work with us or most benefit from the services that we provide? The alternative is you say, hello, Dave, at a future meeting, do you mind if we have a conversation about people that you might know that might like to work with us? Now, what you've done is you've not asked him for a referral, but you've asked him for permission to ask him in the future. Now, Dave will go, oh, they're looking for referrals, and he will start thinking about people that he might be able to recommend to you. And when we get to number 12, and I share the most wanted, that's more or less exactly the same process. So ask people, instead of asking for referrals, ask permission to ask for referrals in the first place. So golden goose. Golden gooses. Identify the right people to ask, give them the specifics of who it is that you want to ask, and then if you dared and ask, or you feel awkward about asking, then ask permission to ask. Don't actually ask.